Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's a very special cast. It's going to be a race war between Protoss and Zerg from players you may have heard of. Game number 1 of this race war will be between Bisu and Soma here on Fighting Spirit. This entire thing was found by RJB and sent to me over Discord. If you want to join the Discord and talk with me and RJB, there's a link in the description, or just search Falcon Paladin Discord in Google, and you will find an invite. Alright, so I'm very, very excited for this. Incredible players, you guys. Top right-hand corner for game number 1, it's Bisu. Representing his race, it is Protoss. And in the bottom left, it is the purple Zerg player, Soma. Did you just watch the best of 7 featuring Soma and Sack from Saturday? If you did, you might be very excited for this, because holy smokes, Soma, an extremely good up-and-coming younger Zerg player going against the best Protoss player of all time. And a bit of an elder statesman at this point, right? Bisu's been around for a while, in esports time anyway. And I don't know who's going to come out on top here. So this is going to be, again, a race war with different players in every matchup. Okay, this is not going to be the same players in an entire series like we've done in the past. It's a bit of a different format here. The loser is kicked out, and a new player from the other team is brought in. From the Zerg team is brought in here. So, yeah, what are we doing? I don't know. Doesn't look like, looks like a hatch first out of Soma, but bam, 11 hatching it. On the other side, Gateway expand, not a Forge expand. That might be Bisu kind of metagaming Soma a little bit. He knows he likes to go for hatch first plays, and therefore he feels pretty safe going for the Gateway first play. And he is not wrong. So the probe comes in on the... Is that a cross? That was a cross position scout there. Not too shabby, I'd say, out of Bisu himself. Pool coming up on the other side. Still no gas yet, which is something that Bisu's very happy to see. Not going to have to deal with speedlings really anytime soon at all. Just going to be slowlings, and walling off against them is pretty easy compared to their speedling counterparts, once they have gotten that metabolic boost that they so greatly desire. Anyway, hit that like button if you're excited for this thing, because, dang, Bisu and Soma in game 1? We've got Queen here. Who are the other players? I was so excited, I don't think I even looked closely at who the players were. Dude, Bisu's doing his thing. Is he going to do his thing? Well, he is expanding. Sometimes it's like a 1 base, 2 or 3 gate mass zealot, just go until the Zerg is dead maneuver. That's not what's happening here, but it is 1 zealot. And it is going to force some lings out here from Soma, and he doesn't want to make any lings. He really just wants to drone until he dies. Or drone until he has a massive army, take your pick. But in this case, he does have to respond by making 4 Zerglings, 6 Zerglings, and here we go. So the probe's here to kind of help with the DPS against these zealots, or against these lings. Alright, so the zealot's going to be annoying. There's no position here where he can be safe and kill the drones. But back here, only 1 link can hit him at a time, which is exactly what he wants. So I think they're going for it. They're like, look, we just want the zealot out of here. It's not like he's part of a larger, huge group coming in. He only gets a couple Zergling kills. That's actually pretty decent play. That's really great play out of Soma. And these might be more lings than you need for base defense, but he's worried about more zealots coming across. And by golly, there is a zealot out on the map. Forge coming in here too. Probes making the Maynard transfer down to the natural base. Third base coming up on the left side for Soma, really nicely timed. The Zealot's going to make sure this is here and maybe get some wax on it and force the lings to respond to him. Meanwhile, we've seen this. That's a Hydralisk Den coming up inside the main base of Soma. And where is your further tech here, Bisu? He is spending a lot of resources on these early Zealots. It's only 200 minerals, yes, but 200 minerals in the early stages of the game means more than 200 minerals in the later stages of the game. Cybernetics core timing is a little bit late as a result, which means the Stargate, or whatever we're starting with here, is going to be a little bit late. But you know what? It's Bisu. I trust him. He's going to be okay. I'm not sure that he's necessarily gotten the value out of these Zealots that he wanted to. But if you force a lot of lings out of the Zerg player and they can't do much with them, it can be okay. It can be okay for you as the Protoss. Photon Cannon coming up. Just, you know, make sure that any ling run-bys have to run into cannons first before they move anywhere else. Hydra speed being researched, and it is a Stargate. So Hydralisk Den indicates you're just going to use Hydras to defend against the opening Corsairs that are almost certain to come from Bisu if you're a Zerg player. And Hydras in each base can really help deal with those Corsairs until you have enough Hydras to move out and leave some at home for base defense. In the meantime, this is, again, a goodly number of Zerglings. I've really kind of helped Soma make some good trades here against Zealots when a lesser player would not do as well with it. But in the meantime, it's 2 bases for Bisu, really happily saturated at 34 total probes. On the other side, yeah, there's 3 bases here for Soma, but the second and the third bases are not anywhere near saturated. And therefore, the income is not going to be very good. This probe, good control, man. These guys not have speed? No, look how slow they are. I mean, you have to actually kind of flank that probe to chase it down and kill it. So he's got a lot of lings, they're just slow lings. And I guess you don't need to have speed against Zealots anyway. You're faster than the Zealots are, even without metabolic boost. This is aggressive. I mean, this is, we're moving up. We've got Hydras, we're jumping in here. Hydras have speed, they're gonna have range soon. This is, we're gonna try to kill Bisu before he gets stormed style of a play. And so far, not super far on the way to the path to get stormed. Citadel of Adun is done. Yes. But the Templar Archives has not gotten started yet. Zealot legs instead seem to be the priority here, as Zealot legs do perform pretty darn well against Hydralisks. Slow Zealots, bad against Hydras. Fast Zealots, really good against Hydras. Gonna try to wipe out this gateway, which is literally the only gateway that exists on the map right now. Corsair trying to find stuff to kill, but again, Hydras keep popping out all over the place. It doesn't take long for them to stop and just pick you out of the sky if you want to stick around. So gateway down. This is so many cannons from Bisu. Yeah, he knows how far away he is from Storm. He's aware. Man, these cannons getting in on the mix is so good. All the lings died without really accomplishing much. Still 3 Zealots behind, ready for defense. Additional cannons coming up here, and still no Templar Archives at all. This Corsair might get the first kill of the day, and these Hydras is like, you're on your own, Overlord, bye! Man, this is Soma trying to win this thing now. He's only on 20 workers. Dude, canceling that upgrade would be massive, but I don't think he's going to get it. There's too many Zealots to shut him down here. And they don't even have legs. Now they have legs. And now they are scarier. They were scary before. We're still kiting, but kiting becomes a lot harder when the Zealots have little rockets in their cabs. Which is not as weird as you would think. This Corsair still has 0 kills. Or is that another Corsair and the first one died? Dude, Bisu's control is not great there. But he's making sure the upgrades finish, right? So he's got +1 attack. He's working on +1 armor. It's technically 3 bases to 2 bases. But again, 42 probes, 230. Well, 19, sorry. Jeez, 19 drones. These Zealots aren't really going to be able to win the game by themselves. And neither are these, if we're honest. These Hydras, there's just a lot. There's a lot of Hydralisks here. I mean, they can pick you off from a distance. If there's enough Hydralisks and you don't have enough Zealots to really threaten them, they will just pick you off from a distance before you really close at all. Templar Archives is on the way here from Bisu in game 1 of our race war. I'm worried about getting demonetized because the title of this video will include race war, but we'll see how that works out. Yeah, it's just enough. It's enough Hydras. Hydras are dying, but they're not allowing the Zealots to get into the soft, juicy mineral lines where the drones are. And that's all you really need to worry about here if you're Soma. Macro hatch here, there too. Supply blocked, actually. He did lose an Overlord to this new Corsair that's popped out, being annoying. It's not Mass Corsair or anything, but it's definitely Corsair Zealot. Storm getting started here at 9 minutes. It's late. So many resources have been devoted to these Zealots, with +1 attack, mind you, and almost with +1 armor, that it's really nice. But you know what Hydras can do to you when you don't have Storm? This. We've seen this happen to many a Protoss player, even a Bisu. When 1,000,000 Hydralisks show up and your Storm is not done, God, this is tight. If you're fighting in range of those cannons, okay, so Ford denies the +1 armor upgrade, which is really annoying. Zealots just kind of run into their des there. I don't think there's enough Hydras to deal with these photon cannons. Plus DTs are out. Saw them in the production tab a minute ago. So DT's moving out across the map. No overlords up at the front here. Again, you could protect them. You can protect them with your Hydras, get an overlord up to the front door, and call it a nice day. But this 48-19 worker shenanigan stuff. There's a window wherein Soma can win this game, but it is closing rapidly. Storm's going to be done here soon. DTs are rolling into the third base. Oh, that reaction time, though. It's like he knew. How did he know? I don't know, but he's trying to kite as well as he can against that DT, but not enough. These drones, though, fighting for their own lives. Dark Templar with 3 total kills and like 20 HP. All right, he dead. He dead. I guess the Overlords don't have speed as part of the problem as to why you're not seeing Overlords up here, because it takes a million years for them to get up. Yeah, man. I mean, this is a 2-basing Protoss versus an effectively 2-basing Zerg. I know he has 3 bases, but he doesn't have the drone count or the gas count to justify 3 bases under any circumstances at all. So I think Bisu has this thing won. I think Old Guard's going to take down New Guard here in the game 1. There is a Spire coming up for Mutalisk reasons, I guess. There really aren't any Dragoons out. It's Zealot High Templar, which is going to be enough to deal with these Hydras. It's a really nice answer to the mass Hydra play. Once you have Storm, everything is different. Everything changes. Yeah, man. These Zealots, even without their armor upgrade, that +1 attack is mean enough as it is. There's a Sunken trying to come up. But the Storms, though, snipe the High Templar. He's not really sniping the High Templar. This feels very GG, and it is! Soma taps out, and Bisu is your winner in game number 1 of this race war. Are we surprised by this result? Nah. Not really. Again, Soma up and coming, very terrifying. But at the end of the day, Bisu's been around too long, man. Those cannons really kept him alive. As he was pumping out Zealots, allowed him to get up to Storm when he wanted to get up to Storm, and once he had Storm, the mass Hydra play was over. It always is. We've seen this before. We know how this works. Soma went for the early aggressive play. It didn't work for him, and the counterattack was deadly. Extraordinarily so. So at the end of the day here, 55,000 points for Bisu, 34,000 points for Soma. Ended up killing 84 Zerg units, only losing 33 Protoss units, and then resources, Bisu out-gas mined, out-mineral mined, and outspent on 2 bases. Again, compared to Soma's, technically 3 bases, but not really 3 bases, and this makes it very apparent. So, let's move into game number 2. Protoss has a 1-0 lead here in this series. Can Zerg come back? Again, it's a very long series, so they've got time, but let's stick it out with game 2 coming up soon. Who do the Zergs send out to face down Bisu? It is none other than Queen. Known as Zero for many years, recently changed his name, but still, nothing has changed about how terrifying and excellent this Zerg player is. So bottom right, it's going to be Queen, and on the top left, it is Bisu, defending his honor as Protoss. Could this be a straight-up all-kill by Bisu? It certainly could. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see what's up. So in the meantime, what is this map? Is this, it's a current map. I recognize it. I just cast a game on this map. Can't remember what the name is. Somebody will tell me. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't recognize this map at all. I'm sure somebody knows the map name. We'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, yeah, man. Bisu's got to be like, all right, took down the young upstart Soma. I played against Zero/Queen a million times in my career. He's always very good. Let's see how he does here today against me at the height of my powers. Yeah, this is an interesting map. You got, okay, so leading from your natural base, you have this ramp leading up to an assimilator that doesn't have any gas in it. I assume you kill it, and that gives you access to this area. And if you want to expand over there, look at all these Tracy's armories right next to each other. A lot of armories required here. Got mine at Tracy's. Oh yeah, probe scouting around will not find the Zerg player very soon. Cross spawns have commenced. And once again, gateway opening. So Zealot pressure going to be the order of the day. And once again, about an 11 or 12 hatcher there out of Queen. So pretty normal, and honestly, pretty much a carbon copy of game number 1 thus far. Both players are scouting around, pool coming in for the Zerg player, no gas yet, really not interested in metabolic boost at this point against Bisu. Probe comes in, sees the timing of the pool, is not super worried about this even the tiniest bit. Zealot moving out. Bisu has his build, man. 1 gate, Zealot pressure into an expand. And then from there, you know, you got some options of what you want to do, obviously. You can rush to Storm to deal with the incoming Hydralisks. You can make a bunch of speed lots to deal with them. You can make a ton of cannons to defend as well. You can make a bunch of Corsairs to try to supply block the Zerg and slow them down. Really depends on what you want to do, and maybe what you know is better against your particular opponent. Because again, I'm not sure how many times Bisu's played against Soma, but I know Bisu has played against Queen for years and years and years. Third base coming up here. I think he walked around. You know what? That's not been discovered. You must be able to squeeze through here if you're a drone. Maybe it's harder for bigger units to get through, and that's what the assimilators are for, but here we go. Got 4 lings, got a Zealot versus and a probe. Everyone's trying to kill each other. Nobody is friendly. Man, the pulls here. The pulls here from Queen, just like, you know what? Let me harvest from these mineral patches. It's really not a big deal. Zealot trying to get more than 2 kills. Does not get more than 2 kills, like the first Zealot in game number 1. Again, this is extremely carbon copy. Oh my gosh. Queen's drone control here is bananas. He's even trying to use the drones to block in that Zealot, so he couldn't get back to his hidey hole, but it didn't work. And yeah, I mean, if 3 or 4 Zerglings can hit you, you're going to make good trades there. This Zealot says, yeah, my buddy just died over there. I'm going to head back home. There's an expansion. There's a forge coming up here for cannons to defend against Zergling counterattacks. This Rhynodon Zoo is getting scouted by Queen. Such an interesting play. Okay, so it must, yeah, it's one of these things where workers can slip through, and I think Zerglings are small enough to slip through too, but not anything more than that. So the Lings are going to use 1,000,000 hits. It's like 1 damage per hit on this thing. It has so much armor to break on through that thing and just be able to defend this base with, you know, larger units, like, for example, maybe Hydralisks. If you're going for a Hydralisk den, which you're not, that is a macro hatch, man. Like, I'm just going to try to out-macro Bisu. Bisu opened up with a pretty aggressively macro build. I'm going to get a 3rd base up. I'm going to drone my face off. I'm going to make sure I have visions so that if any Zealots come try to kill me, I'm aware of them. And by golly, look, there are Zealots coming, and the Overlord is there positioned to make sure that he knows what's going on. Got ourselves a Stargate in production. Another macro hatch? Queen, you're crazy. These eggs take forever, I'm telling you. But I mean, you have to know. You walked under... The intent here is to make Queen make something more than just drones at this stage of the game. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to make anything more than drones, but he has to because there's 4 Zealots on his front doorstep and not enough Lings to handle them, which is why the drones are fighting. He doesn't want to make any Sunkens, but he's willing to kill drones in this battle, which I don't think I necessarily agree with, but hey. It working for him. The drones aren't dying. They're just off their mining pretty heavily. So this is just great control exhibited by both players. Nobody wants to commit into a situation where they're going to die. Bisu doesn't want to get surrounded. Ah, that Zealot didn't really have a choice, did he? And yeah, I don't know that Queen's getting the best value here out of his Zerglings, but he's pushing the Zealots back, and that accomplishes most of his goal anyway. Does have a Hydralisk stand. He's going for a lair. Robotics Bay is almost done for Bisu back home. This Zealot knows he's not getting out of here alive. He just wants to see if there's Hydras or not. Hey, look! Hydras are here. Excellent. Once again, man, Metabolic Boost is not really the play against Bisu. You know what's Bisu doesn't care about is Speedlings, apparently. And as, you know, Corsairs are here too, because of course there's Corsairs. Reaver in production. Shuttle speed coming in. We're going to try to Reaver drop the Snot. Out of Queen here. Is that going to work out? I don't know. There's a lot of Hydras. If the Hydras could snipe the shuttle fast, or you get a good split against the Reavers, yes. Entirely possible. But I love this little cloud of Overlords hanging over the Hydras. Like, hey, come over here and get this big juicy group of Overlords. We promise we won't murder you. Oh, that one came out. Bad times there. Rhinodon Zoo down here to the south as well. So yeah, we're going to Reaver drop. It's going to be pretty much mass Hydra with no lurker play at all. Out of Queen. Hey, look, it's a Reaver drop over here. It's doing all right, but also it is toast. I mean, Reaver's really good. But if they die during their drop, they're not as good. They're so expensive. They're 200 gas each, man. I mean, they hit like trucks. And when they die, you feel it as a Protoss player. That's the end of your aggression. You have to spend another 200 gas on another Reaver if you want to keep going. So even if you killed a whole ton of Hydras and a whole ton of Lings, as long as you're not killing drones, I'm pretty sure Queen's okay with that as long as he can kill the Reaver in turn. Buys him a lot of time. So the splash damage here today, in this game anyway, is not Storm. It is Reavers. So the Hydras can't just kind of happily gallivant up here and start murdering things. Although, oh, okay. So the Reaver came over here. I was like, there was a Reaver. This high ground is shenanigans, but it can't shoot from the high ground, so it's not much of a threat for Queen. The Templar Archives is coming up here as well. So, as expected, this is a better game than what we saw from Soma. Which is fine. I like Soma. I think Soma has a lot of good years ahead of him. Whoa, I didn't see this. Queen's taking the center base? That's not going to stick around. There are too many speed lots for that. With +1 attack. Yeah, that's a canceled hatch. Goodbye, hatchery. We knew thee well. He's trying to save it, but there's no saving it. I understand you really want this hatch to live. And I understand you're, like, bringing a lot of Hydras down here to try to make sure it can. With your +1 attack, which is great. I'm not going to say it's not. But, okay, sniping the Reaver's a decent start. Dude, did he save the hatch? Queen. Alright, he sacrificed a lot of Hydras, but he got the Reaver, and he saved the hatch, and he killed a ton of Zealots. Boss maneuver there. Trying to sneak a third base up at the 12 o'clock is Bisu. There is no protection for it whatsoever. If Queen finds that, it is toast. Storm is coming in. Any sign of a fourth base? I don't see any sign of a fourth base, no, but DT drop heading over to the bottom right. To that main base of Queen. Dude, this is Look at him hanging on to the center base. Does he have vision of this? He has vision of this, and then the Overlord, ooh, almost ends up scouting that. DT is going to wander in the main, but guess what we have? Hydras and an Overlord, so that's not happening. And what's down this way? There was a Sunken. Did that Sunken die? I didn't think that Sunken died. Alright, so we're going to rack up a couple drone kills here and there. Again, the drone control by Queen has been insane today. Yeah, these ZTs have been kind of wandering about, but not really accomplished a whole ton. They each got a couple kills each before they died, but whatever. He still doesn't know. He's kind of looks like he's mounting an attack this way, though. I think he's going to accidentally stumble upon this Nexus as he's trying to get an attack on the main base. Or no, maybe he knows. Okay, so he knows. This third base is done. This is a problem for Bisu. Dude, you can't lose these High Templar! Oh, no. All the High Templar just died right there. A ton of Hydras died, but that's a fair trade. Queen's okay with that. That High Templar death was massive. Lurker's back here. Bisu taps out! And Queen ties it up 1-1. Zerg versus Protoss in this race war. Yeah, man, he snuck Lurkers and back behind the natural base and the main base and killed Bisu's third base all at approximately the same time because Queen is a god. The drone control, the ability to save this hatchery when very few other Zerg players could save that hatchery in that situation. Amazing. The Hydra play, the upgrades on the Hydras, getting that +1 when Soma wasn't able to do it in the last game, getting that third base up. Defending it really, really well against a very aggressive Bisu. It's not like Bisu wasn't trying to kill him. Reaver drops. At least 2 or 3 Reavers died, which is, again, another point in favor of why Queen won this game. But yes, the final killing blow is pretty much what you have to do against somebody like Bisu, is attack them at all their bases at the same time. And get it done. I'm not sure there was an observatory. Should we check real quick? I want to check real fast. Hold on. This is... I wish there was an actual rewind instead of go through the whole replay in a million times speed. But, no. There is an observatory. Okay. All right. But are there actually any observers out? Because if you have to wait for an observer to come up and you're losing all this mining time at your main... So, and I forgot to mention, losing all of those High Templar was brutal at the same time. Yeah, it's just this one Overlord carrying 2 Lurkers. Bloop, bloop. So all the High Templar died. That died. GG. Great. Again, Queen. Can Queen help the Zerg get all the way to the finals here and win the whole thing? I don't know. We'll find out. 64,000 points there for Queen, about 56 for Bisu as Bisu taps out. This is better, right? 209 units produced for the Zerg, 120 for the Protoss. Ends up killing about the same, which is not good. If you're a Protoss player playing against a Zerg, you don't want that number to look virtually identical. Not much by the way of raised buildings, and then 3 basing Zerg. Out gas mined, out mineral mined, out total spent Bisu. Ta-da. Good match. Okay, match number 3 coming your way. We'll return. It's Mini. Gonna try to take on Queen here. Bottom left. It is Mini. He's orange. And it's the pre-order skin for the Nexus for StarCraft Remastered. And in the top left here, without the pre-order skin, it is Queen. I told you, this is chock full of amazing, amazing Brood War players. Thanks again, RJB. Check him out. RJB StarCraft. Search him. He does fastest map stuff in Brood War. If you love fastest map and you wish I cast more of it, RJB is the place to go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I also recently... I recently reached a goal on patreon.com/Falcon Paladin that I set like, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. I reached it and I had promised to cast a StarCraft tournament if I reached it. Back then, I was only casting StarCraft 2. I had not started casting Brood War yet. And so I reached the goal and I realized, I have to do 2 tournaments. So I did a StarCraft 2 tournament on Sunday. And then I'm planning on doing a Brood War one. I've already talked about that next Sunday. So anyway, it's really nuts. It's crazy how things have grown. It's really nice. I appreciate everybody who's come to me for Brood War content. It's very fun for me to cast. It just makes me happy. If I have a rough day at work, if I'm frustrated about something, I sit down to cast, and it just... the music makes me happy, especially the Terran soundtracks. Just the skill level of these players makes me happy, and it is a good time. On the other hand, we're overpooling this thing. And it's Forge play because, alright, he recognized, okay. There's Lings coming up here. They're going to be a problem. Actually, was that a pool first based on that Overlord timing? That Overlord has been out for some time. It's close. It's close either way. But yeah, at this point, Mini does not feel safe without some cannons, and I can't necessarily blame him for that. So we're here on Circuit Breakers, a map that's been around for a very long time and is part of the current map pool. Just real no problems with it, as it turns out. The Overlord sees what we're dealing with. Isn't too surprised by anything. And it just means you're not really going to commit a lot to Zerglings here because Bisu, rather, Mini is going to be able to hold it. Man, 2 games in a row Bisu, and I think everyone's Bisu. Love that third base timing, too. If your opponent's going for a Forge Fast Expand, they are not going to have the Zealot count to mess with your third base. Oh, do the Lings get inside the house? Jaedong! Jaedong style. Zerglings inside the house here from Queen. Now, if this Ling is careful and not an idiot, like doesn't run through this mineral line because it will die, it can see the tech choices of Mini and shut it down. I mean, not shut it down by himself, but he can relay that information back home. Overlord doing the same thing, if we're honest. Able to see what's going on because nothing can kill it until there's a Stargate. Or a Cybernetics core and maybe a Dragoon. This probe, though, really, really annoying stuff. And it is a Hydralisk Den. Okay, so more Hydra play. Which, again, if you're trying to kill a Protoss fast, you definitely want to go for those Hydras. If you're trying to survive, then get the Spire, get a couple Scourge out, get your third base, get your fourth base, and try to win in the mid or the late game. But if you want to kill the Protoss player zippily, a Hydralisk Den is the way to go. It is a sign of aggression. And we'll see what Mini does to try to handle that. We did see the Reaver opening from Bisu last game. Didn't seem to work out super well versus the sheer number of Hydras that existed for Queen. But things could be different here. Mini is not Bisu, but Mini has been around for a very long time, has some very nice accomplishments of his own. And that Cyber Core is coming up at 4 minutes. I mean, there's just not... Zealot wanders on up here, forces some Lings out, as it does. Queen drone control does not lose any drones, and that's kind of the whole goal here. You can avoid getting hit at all, then yeah, that's better, but... as long as no drones die, I think you're pretty much okay with how things have turned out in the end. Alright, so they finally decided just to commit. Zealot goes down. Another Zealot going up to this third base to see if he can tell what's up. What came out of this? Ah, okay, so it's drones and not Zerglings. Good to know. It's drones and not Hydras. Good to know. Hydra speed, the priority right now. Not going for the range yet, but definitely speed is on the menu. And it's a Stargate back home for Mini. Are we surprised by any of this thus far? No, not really. Just some really well-executed builds. Some good harassment here from the Zealots out of the Protoss player. And that Zealot's got 3 kills. It's not bad. It's not 4 kills, which is ideally what you want as a Zealot when you're fighting against Zerglings. Ah, that's got a kill. 2 kills. Just killed a drone and a Zergling. Not bad, man. This Zealot pressure, it's not a lot of Zealots. And he's not rushing for Zealot speed or anything. But, you know, slow Zealots have their own place, at least until Hydras come out. And then they're not as good. Meanwhile, there's got... okay, so there's your Citadel. I'm like, you've got to go for some sort of splash here. If you're just trying to go Corsairs and Zealots, it's not really going to work out versus the mass Hydra play. There's your range coming up. just about done here as well. This is some really disgusting timing out of Queen. Getting that third base up fast was excellent. Excellent for him. And this gateway, I think, is going to go down, just like we saw in game number 2. The Zealot pressure shows up. There is no Storm. There are no Reavers to handle them. There's no, 8 to 10 Zealots with legs there to kill them. So oh man, the Forge going down would be so big too. That +1 attack is massive for these Zealots. Not really. There we go. Now focusing it. Now it's dead. That is. Hang on. Actually, wait. He's trying to kill the cannons first, which makes a lot of sense. But also, he's not getting the Forge very well. Dude, is this going to finish? It should not finish. But he keeps jumping in to snipe down cannons, and he's going to let this +1 attack finish. Wow. Wow. And it's done. Okay, that was huge. And then the Forge dies about 3 seconds later. I don't know that it's going to matter in the long run because there are no Zealots here to take advantage of that +1 attack. Dude, this is so many. This Corsair is trying to do stuff, but this might just be a Queen win, guys. This might just be a Queen win here. Is he going to... No, there's another cannon back there. The cannon placements are really important. It's Zealot legs. He's going for +1 Zealots with legs to try to handle these Hydras. But anytime you're fighting with probes this hard against Hydralisks, you're in a desperate, desperate position. Because the Hydras have speed, the Hydras have range, they can kite you all day because you're just a slow melee attack unit. And I use attack with air quotes because probes are not meant to attack anything. Another cannon down. More and more probes are dying. But look at this. Mini. It doesn't matter. GG! Queen with the Hydra pressure manages to get the win in about 8 minutes. I was going to say, even if you're losing these probes, still has more workers than Queen does. Queen's at 22 drones, and I think Mini at the end of the game there was closer to 28 or 30. But that situation, all those probes die. There's just a wide open front door to the natural base. And it's a 3-basing Zerg versus a 2-basing Protoss. In addition, there was no Storm coming up. He was just trying to hold that thing with Zealots, which is not going to work against these timings that Queen has. 100 million times. All right, so great job. I don't know that this is going to be a super interesting score screen, but we'll give it a look-see anyway. Yeah, I mean, 23,000 points there for Queen, 22,000 for Mini. Producing, killing, losing about even, which is never good, again, if you're playing against the Zerg. 11 Protoss structures raised, and no Zerg buildings died. And then just barely outspent the Zerg player, which is not good. Again, so let's keep this thing going. Can Queen take out the next Protoss challenger from this race war? Let's find out. We'll be right back. It's going to be Best here on Overwatch, trying to take down Queen, who took down Bisu and Mini in consecutive order. Top left, it is Best. Bottom right, it is Queen. Still here. Still representing the Zerg race for all he's worth. It's going to be good, man. Overwatch. Great map. Really fun stuff here. If you haven't seen it, let's take a quick look and reveal the entire map here. It's just a fun map. A fairly, I don't know, fairly large main. Standard natural. Your third base is kind of far away, which is a problem. I guess no, you go across the thing up the way here. It's not bad. Plus you have a ramp to defend. Pretty wide open spaces. Really good for Zerg surrounds. And also some narrow spots as well. Some narrow ramps for Protoss to hold. But nothing too crazy if we're just going to see Queen do the same thing, right? If we're going to see him go for the Hydras. This is about the same situation as we saw in the last match. Circuit Breakers and on Fighting Spirits as well. Yeah, man, Queen's just terrifying. Queen is just kicking butt and taking names in ASL. Really not too surprising to see him doing this well here. And going for the overpool. So really going for some aggression. The cross-spawn scout, first from Best, is able to see the timing on that pool and says, all right, that's pretty zippy compared to the last game. Let's make sure we get a forge. And then maybe we'll expand, or maybe we'll get a cannon first. Depends on how many lings pop out of these eggs. This probe's job is to see how many lings are coming out. This early stage scouting is the difference between death and life in StarCraft, if you're Protoss especially, playing against a good Zerg player. I mean, how many times in your life have you just lost because, you know, 8 to 10 lings showed up and you weren't ready for it, Protoss? This is how this doesn't happen to players like Best and Mini and Bisu, as they probe scout. They see what's going on, they check the timing on the pool, they stick around to see how many lings are popping out of these eggs. Because if it's 6, that's a different response than it is if there is, you know, a single set. And it is, in fact, going to be 4. Oh, never mind, that's a drone. Wow, alright, so it's just 2. It's 2, so in which case, you don't need another cannon, you don't need to throw up a gateway here instantly, you can keep probing, and you'll be just fine at the stage. You do have to worry about lings getting inside your main again, is the question. Well, not again, because it was Mini in the last game, but Protoss, you don't want those lings inside your main. Is this cannon going to finish in time? They are running to get there. The probe is trying to delay them until the cannon finishes? That was a sick play from Best. I like that. It wasn't anything huge, but it was good. Now the cannon's up and the lings cannot get through. If there were 4 to 6 lings, maybe one could get through that gauntlet and get to scouting, but 2 lings not going to happen. Third base coming up down to the south, actually. It seems, it's about equidistant, I guess, from your natural if you go north. Doesn't really matter, but love that third base timing. Again, not getting 10 Zerglings there means you can get a third base fast and just, again, try to out-macro your opponent. That's what Queen's style of play here has been. And yes, Queen won with Mass Hydra, but it wasn't at the timing that you normally see. He let Reavers come out, got his 3 bases up, he denied the third base from Bisu, and he got the win. Or from Mini, I guess, in the last game. I'm getting my Protoss players all mixed up. Anywho, quick lair, and no sign of a Hydralisk Den in this one. So we might just be going for Scourge to combat the inevitable Corsairs, which you're gonna see from Protoss players. There's just no reason not to make Corsairs if you're Protoss. Just the Overlord vision is too important for Zerg. Being able to kill them is massively a big deal. And it forces the Zerg player down certain tech paths. So metabolic boost about to finish up here. I need to do a better job of recognizing when speed finishes, because sometimes it gets skipped and I just assume it's been made and I'm like, wait, what? Zealot coming to the third base to see what's going on down here. And the answer is not much. A couple eggs just kind of pulsating in the moonlight here on this map. Oh, the Ling run by though was good. Speed finished right before that run by. Now, this is enough lings to actually fight your probes and actually pull them off the line a little bit and mess with their timings. Mess with their mining time, which is not good. Scouts the Stargate says, yeah, knocked me over with a feather. Didn't see that coming. But the Spire's almost halfway done, so he saw it coming. This is such disgusting ling control. I don't think he's taken a hit from this Zealot yet. He's taken some damage from the probes for sure. But that Zealot's not been able to get anything done against these guys. Now there's a cannon up, and now the probes are generally safe. I wonder if you could harass this, maybe. Yeah, these lings are... if they can slip through and jump on that cannon, that'd be huge. I don't think that's going to happen, though. More macro hatch. You'll notice the better players go for the macro hatches. Okay, so it's 2 pairs of Scourge. I was going to say, maybe Muta. We have seen some really excellent Zerg players go Muta against a Corsair opening Protoss and be just fine. But not today. Just a couple pairs of Scourge and then back to the droning. He is supply blocked, unfortunately, so that'll take him a minute. But 2 hatcheries coming up. So that's a macro hatch, and that's a macro hatch. So I think the lings all got cleared out. They did take down the cannon. Just kidding, there's 1 Zergling left. Ah, probe got him. Ignominious death for the Zergling there. Citadel of Adun on the way from the Protoss. These macro hatches might just be the death of Best here, though. Stop, stop, stop. Alright, not the best drone control there. Ends up losing a drone. These Zealots getting the best of the Zerglings for now. Morlings joining the party, and now the Zealots are dead, but they're going to try to kill as many enemy units as they can before they are taken down. So a bit of a late response, uncharacteristically losing a drone, but not a huge deal from Queen. Templar Archives, warping in, opening Temporal Rift? Warp Rift. Just a Warp Rift. Temporal would be time travel. Game is not about time travel, but it is about teleportation. And warping. Protoss is cool, man. Always has been. Ever since I first saw them in 98, I was just like, wow. The Archons are powerful and scary. This recall concept is insane. But Zerg always drew me in more than Protoss did, so I've been a Zerg main ever since. And just Queen's playstyle is incredibly inspirational. The macro hatcheries, just making enough lings for some aggression or just enough to defend. He never overmakes lings at all. He is making 7 Mutalisks. Hey, hey! And it's Mutas. You know who doesn't have a Corsair flock? It's Best. And now the Mutas are completely taking him by surprise. He's getting Storm. He's also making Dark Templar, which aren't going to be super great here. I mean, some Archons would be pretty good in the situation, but this is dicey, man. If you don't have the Corsair group to deal with these Mutas, you're probably just going to die. I mean, the reason Corsairs were introduced to the game in the Brood War expansion in later 98 is because Mutalisks were king of StarCraft 1. They just, every matchup, Zerg was like, I'm making mass Mutalisk, and your opponent was like, ah, this sucks. I hate defending against mass Mutalisk. But that was my strategy, I'm like, you know what? Mutas can attack air and ground, and they're fast. I'm just going to make 6 hatcheries and expand everywhere while getting up to Spire, and then make 100 Mutas and just win. And it works pretty well against players who don't know what they're doing. But then I matched up against somebody on my dorm floor, my freshman year of college, who was just like, no? I'm not going to let you expand 6 times before you do anything. He kept killing my expansions, and I was like, what? Maelstrom coming in from Best. Ooh, we get the Dark Archon! We get the Dark Archon! RJB, you were right. This is great stuff. This is really, really good stuff. So happy Tuesday, everyone. You get a full race war on your hands. And a day that I was not really anticipating casting this much StarCraft. But you know what? It's awesome. And RGB was insistent. And he was right. So the Mutas haven't really gone for anything. In fairness, there's a couple cannons and more coming up all the time. Maelstrom, again, catching Mutas with Maelstrom and then storming them is insanely good. These Scourge are here to deal with Corsairs that don't exist. That is a problem for Queen all of a sudden. He spent a lot of resources on Scourge that are not going to help him at all in this situation. Because it's not Corsairs. It's Archons, it's Dark Archons, and it's Maelstrom. That's our play. Yeah, man, these Scourge coming on out. Sorry, that sound was another video finishing processing in HitFilm. I didn't think this game would be as long as it is. So that ding was, hey, your video's done, Falcon. Thank you, HitFilm. I use HitFilm because sometimes my video recording software records Brood War at 59.9 FPS instead of 60. You've probably seen casts of mine that have accidentally put out with a bit of a disconnect between the video and the audio, and that's why. Is every once in a while, not all the time, but sometimes, my recording software is like, oh yes, I'll record at 59.99 FPS, and then everything's wrong. But HitFilm also gives me, or HitFilm gives me the ability to fix that. I can change it to 60 pretty easily. It's one of the reasons I use the software. Plus, it's free. Hey, HitFilm, not bad. Okay, Million Hydras have arrived. Storm is done. I guess we'll find out. I didn't see it come through, actually. I was focusing on the Maelstrom more than anything else. Look at this. 4th base, happily running. 126 to 114 supply for best. Storm is done. Okay. So a Maelstrom Storm combo there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Archon doesn't get credit for the kills, but probably should anyway. And yeah, this is the first time the Mutas have really dived on into the main at all, and they're just trying to kill a pylon. It's not even like it really matters here. I don't know, Best has kind of done this pretty well. That said, he's on 2 bases to a 4-basing Queen, so that's not ideal. Oop, Dark Templar gets the Maelstrom down. I love that sound, but also gets sniped off by the Hydras before the Dragoons show up. Storm dodging with the Mutas like a boss. More macro hatches, because more macro hatches mean more larvae, which means you can spend your money on your bases more quickly. There's a lot of Hydras and a lot of Lings, but this is the first really true strong push we've seen from a Protoss player against Queen today that has gotten to this point. I like it. The Storm is the great equalizer. Without Storm, this whole Ling Hydra Muta thing would crush this army. But with Storm, suddenly Queen has to be more careful. Look at this, getting a 3rd base up behind this aggression, being aware of where the Mutalisks are. Dude, if Best pulls off this upset, I'm going to be hyped impressed. He's up 166 to 147 supply on Queen. The Lurkers are a bit of a problem, but there are Observers and there are Dragoons, so it could be worse. A Corsair joins the party after all the Scourge have been killed after accomplishing nothing. And they're going to start going after these Overlords, which is just annoying. Another Dark Archon coming in. And Adrenal Glands. And Best is setting up to take down a base. If you're going to try to kill Queen, that's your first step. It's coming up this ramp right here. And there's no Dark Swarm, so these Dragoons are a great answer against the Lurkers. But when your Observer gets sniped by these Scourge, suddenly it's a bad time. Yeah, might need more Observers than just the one. And the fact that he couldn't kill this base is a big-time problem for Best. The last time I cast Best was my humming-only cast that freaked a lot of you out, and a bunch of you were also very upset. So I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but at least if I don't know. If I do, maybe less people will be confused because I've done it before, but bottom line, it was just because I recently just completed like a 5-hour session of casting solo for this channel. And I was like, I need to cast one more game before I go on vacation. And I was like, you know what would be easier is humming. And so I hummed the whole time, and it was fun. A lot of fun. I'll label it an ASMR cast. How about that? If I do it ever again, so you'll know what's going on. Best taking a 4th base on this left side and really just kind of pressuring Queen here. Doesn't want to move in for the kill, but just posturing. This Ling attack up the left side. If it gets there now, before these cannons all finish, it's bitter time, but Zealot saw it coming. It's tough. And the Lings are pretty well upgraded here with our 1-1 and Adrenal Glands. But Zealot sitting here, a lot of Zealots defending with +3 attack and +2 armor. Holy cannoli. Can he get up this ramp? You go and try it. What are you doing, Dark Archon? Why are you in the front? He might need to cast a Maelstrom, like, now or die. No, keeping him pretty protected. It's not bad. Alright, so he holds on to his energy for now. That's a free Mutalisk if you ever wanted one. If you ever want a free Mutalisk, because that's one right there. This game is nuts and really good. Plague is being researched by Queen. This Hydraling stuff, no Dark Swarm, which I find really strange. Although the Zealous Protecting would have not really cared about the Dark Swarm at all. By that I mean not cared about the Dark Swarm at all. There's your Maelstrom again. You know, 4 Hydras die without being able to fight back. That's cool. I don't know, sometimes I really wonder why we don't see Maelstrom more often. It's very rare. I don't know. This is close. I really don't want to call it for anybody right now, but I feel like Best is in a really, really nice position to win this game. His upgrades are through the roof with that +3 attack being really nice. It's only 1-1 for the Lings. And the Hydras only have 2-1 by comparison. Got ourselves Defiler Energy coming up. Plaguing this giant ball of gateway units would be a game changer. Let's see if we get there for Queen. See how cool Archons are? So cool. Just always have been. Ooh, feedbacked. You feedbacked a Defiler. Nice job. Keep the Dark Archon alive. Do not let it die. Look at him keeping it alive. Oh my gosh, 6 HP and alive. Best. I'm rooting for you now. You did your best to keep that Dark Archon alive, and now he's killed 2 Defilers with feedback. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, the Lings took a hard right. This is a stupidly good PvZ right now. All right, man. Best. Marching up. There's no Dark Swarm to protect these Lurkers because the Defilers were feedbacked. And, there's detection, and, dude, is this going to be an upset victory? It's not over! It is far from over. Still 162 supply for Queen. He's going for a Ling, Lurker, or something counterattack. Or maybe a flank? Ooh, a flank would be good. Wait, did the Dark Archon die? Oh, I think it died. Alright, so the timing on this was not ideal, but if you're largely Dragoons and a bunch of Zerglings show up, you just need to get out of there. It's going to be a rough go of it. Oh no, the Dark Archon went back home. Smart. Smart Dark Archon. Very intelligent. Bottom left base does not happen for Queen. These Lings are also not going to happen for Queen. Yep, this is a stupid, stupid good PvZ in the middle of this race war. The first 3 games were good in their own way. But anytime a game gets about the 20-minute mark, things start to get really, really interesting. High ground Hydralisks with +3 attack and +2 armor. The upgrades have been better for Queen as of late. The Maelstrom Storm combo again. Really helping, but the Dark Swarm, yeah, and the Lings with the upgrades and the flank attack with 1,000,000 Lurkers, though. And once again, Best is unable to get this hatch, or really any of the drones at that third base. He's tried, heaven knows he's tried a lot to try to take that thing down, but hasn't been able to. Queen's been able to rebuff his advances over and over again in this game. Jumping on in. Lurkers, Steward, not enough energy for the Archon to do anything. This base might be in an immense amount of trouble here as the Lings continue to pressure on in right now. That Dark Archon looks to be toast, and it is. Wait! Okay. Explosion. Got it. Yeah, so you're not expanding there. The 12 o'clock is working. This left side is working. I don't know why these drones are long distance mining. Were they... Oh, he's just sending them up to this top right base. Okay, they're not long distance mining. Just moving. Moving home. Moving house. This is actually how they say it in Madagascar. Is changing home. Makes sense. Nexus coming up bottom left here. Dude, is Best? I don't know, man. Best has consistently had more supply and a better economy than Queen through most of the game today. We're running out of places to expand, y'all. There's this base, and that's it as far as bases that have not been expanded to yet. And this one was expanded to and then killed. So every base has been expanded to at this point. This might be the best game I've ever seen out of Best. Okay, so storm down that lurker that they maelstromed, which doesn't matter because lurkers don't move when they're burrowed anyway. This is so much scrap right here. So much scrap. I mean, Best is the one so far today who has made Queen look human. The way he was able to kind of dispatch both Bisu and Mini fairly easily, I felt like, was stupid impressive. And now Best is giving him fits. He hasn't killed any bases except for this one that wasn't up yet, so I'm not sure that it counts. Best has been able to expand 4 times. He's on 5 bases on this map. There are not 100 places to expand here. And trying to come up the ramp here. Stark Archon gets on out. Dark Swarm is up. Storming into the Dark Swarm, bringing Archons into the Dark Swarm. Lings, this is getting a little bit scary as reinforcing units show up. Trying to shuttle in some High Templar and get some storms off in the Dark Swarm and protect this base. But it's getting a little bit dicey in here. Yeah, this base is toast. Once you get blanketed by Dark Swarm like this, when there are lurker spines everywhere, you're not saving your Nexus, I don't think. This poor Dark Archon just doesn't belong here. He doesn't have enough energy to do anything. He's got that 6 HP he's rolling with. Down here to the south, trying to catch some of the reinforcing units, trying to come up and save that third base. And when I said that Nexus was going down, I might have spoken too soon. That appears to be a still alive Nexus, but getting focused by these +3 lurkers. The Reavers aren't even really trying to hit him. They're just not being controlled right now. Best, where are you? The Nexus goes down. The Reavers, I think, possibly could have saved it with some really good control that Best is capable of, but this bottom left-hand base is also under assault. Dude, is Queen just going to pull this out at the last minute? He had the overall army value lead, or overall supply lead there for just a minute before Best took it back, and now it's back in Queen's favor. We're kind of back and forth on this one, but this base running is big. This gives the 1 base advantage to the Zerg, but I mean, coming up this ramp when there are Reavers and Storm and shenanigans, oh my. I can't even hardly tell what's going on under all that Dark Swarm, but cannons are dying. That's for sure. Reavers getting sniped down here too. Suddenly losing these bases is putting Best into a terrible economic position. Best on the other side of the map is trying to get something done, but it's mostly Lings he has to deal with, which is not too bad, but losing 2 Nexuses in about 2 minutes is not good. In the long run, it is actually fairly bad. Storms galore, but there are so many lurkers. And not enough storm, and not enough detection either. There's no observers up ahead. Overhead. Ling's getting that surround. It's a desperate hold here for Best, but he needs to kill a base. But the reinforcing Lings, are there just too many of them? I don't know. Maybe not. That's a lot of dead Zerglings we're hearing there. Plague goes down, catches a Dragoon. Okay, and 3 Zealots, which is not bad. Reaver in the mix. This is a desperate position. Best does not need to defend here. He needs to be on the offense. And he needs to start killing bases. Like, maybe this one would be a good idea. Detection is present. The lurkers are not going to be as good as they otherwise would be. There's Archons and there's Reavers. These Hydras are what you want generally versus this. But the first, maybe the first hatch that Queen is going to lose today, is this it? Is this the hatch? It's 100 to 74 total supply, though. Just more and more Lings rolling in, surrounding a Reaver, their worst nightmare. Is Lings getting that surround, and bam, last hit. Reaver down. Hatchery alive, and good game. Best taps out. Queen sneaks by on the skin, by the skin of his teeth. By the skin of his teeth. Oh, that was nuts. What a great epic game there out of Best. He almost took Queen down. He was in a great position, but then he ended up losing his third. And his fifth, I think this bottom left was, didn't kill any hatcheries. Queen has not lost a hatchery in this race war yet. Not one. Not a single one. Insanely good. Again, just holding on. Just holding on his economy of about 50 drones and the number of bases and all the larvae he's got able to produce. Just throwing Lings and Hydras at the problem until it went away, getting Plagues off, getting Dark Swarms off as necessary, and Best needed to kill this base. And maybe needed to kill this base. Well, that base is out. It might have been better for him to attack the top right instead of this direction, but whatever, it's fine. In the end, sick match. Really, really sick match there. But Queen comes out on top. Yeah, look at this. 246,000 points for Best, 252 for Queen. So close. Almost produced 1,000 Zerg units. Almost killed 800 Zerg units, did Best. Structures raised again. Generally going to turn out in favor of the Zerg player there. And then just sheer out macroing. Way more gas mined, way more minerals mined, and outspent by about 6,000 resources. That'll do. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. All right. Well, let's keep this thing going. Is Queen going to keep beating Protoss? We will see. Stick with it. We have more coming here. Who's up on Neo Sylphid to try to take down Queen, who looks unstoppable? It's none other than Stork. Top side, Queen here on Neo Sylphid. Right side on the bottom-ish, it is Stork. All right, so the way this is formatted, the first team to 4 wins is your victor here in this race war put on by KCM. So that means Zerg players have 3 wins, right? Queen has beat Bisu, Mini, and Best. One more win for the Zerg. And this is all over. It is a 4-2-1 stomping of some of the best Protoss players in the world right now. The only thing that stands between Protoss and abject failure is Stork. Do you believe in Stork? I do. I believe in Stork a lot. Look at that 600 APM he's rolling with. That's okay, 550. It's going down a little bit. It's insane, though. I don't know. Queen's ZVP kind of looks unstoppable, but consider this. He has played 3 games in a row against some of the best the Protoss world has to offer. He's got to be a little bit drained, especially after that long match against Best. And Stork is rested. He's just been hanging out, watching the action, studying what Queen is trying to do here today. I don't think I've ever seen somebody spawn down here in Neo Sylphid in any of the games that I've cast so far. It's a fairly newer map, but a lot of the Caster Muse games are played on this that I've been casting recently, and it's I mean, to this point, it's been top spawn, left side spawn. So that somebody spawning down here is kind of weird. It makes me feel like it's not Neo Sylphid, but it totally is. Anyway, you're not going... You going Nexus first? Oh my gosh, it's a 12 Nexus. Oh my gosh, it's a 12 Nexus. Okay, well, he gets away with it because it's hatch first play out of Queen. Blind 12 Nexus against someone who's gone overpool. The last couple of games is kind of nuts. But... I mean, okay, it works out for Queen. He went hatch first. He's going into a pool behind it. Probe's going to scout and see what's going on. And Stork's going to be like, oh, thank goodness this wasn't a pool first play or an overpool. Because I would be in so much trouble right now. But, yeah. It's like, oh, that hatchery timing. Thank everything. Drone comes in and says, 12 Nexus? What are you, nuts? Look at him fighting this probe, too. Queen, your drone control is nuts. So good. Look at this. He has to bring another probe over to deal with this one drone. That's so annoying. And actually saved the life of this probe. Oh, hold on. Nah, thought about trying to get a stab off, but not enough to kill him anyway. Yeah, look at that. You don't even need a cannon. Go right into the gateway. No big deal. There's a pair of Lings in production, but nothing else you need to worry about right now. Stork's doing all right. There's your third base. I was like, you know what you need to do if you're Queen here is get a really quick third base. Anytime your opponent, your Protoss opponent, goes for a fast Nexus first play, get a third base up. Not as soon as you can necessarily, but real fast. Maybe after your pool. So, right, hatchery, pool, extractor, pool. Super fast third base because you need to catch up economically to what is happening down here, which is a ton of pro production behind a wall that's going to be hard for you to get through if you just have Zerglings. Well, Lings are moving down, but I mean, that cannon's warping in. Cybercore coming up here, too. And there's your lair timing for Queen. And we get the Terran music, even though it's Zerg and Protoss. Alright, so Probe gets a real nice scout, despite the fact there are a million Zerglings out, and that's because speed is not done yet, although it's on the way. Oh my gosh, it's a Stargate. It's a Stargate. Are we surprised? No. It's a Citadel of Adun. Are we surprised? No. Spire on the way to deal with the incoming Corsairs. Alright, alright. It's basically a redo of what happened here between Best and Queen just about, 30 minutes ago now. Templar Archive's coming in pretty quick, too. So I think even if there is some kind of a Hydralisk timings, I think Storm's going to be done by the time that Hydralisk range is complete, even if a Hydra Den starts now, which it's not. So going to be, again, this really feels like Mutalisks to me. It feels like we're going Scourge to deal with the early Corsairs and then Mutalisk pressure to deal with the other stuff. And I don't know that the Mutas did a lot in the last game for Queen. I think it was a massive investment that didn't really accomplish a whole ton. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. Where was this? I saw the hatchery. I am blind as a bat. I'm sure you guys are writing comments furiously. Falcon, you idiot. There's a Hydralisk Den right there. Okay, well, alright. So Hydra timings, again, I don't think you're going to do super great against this fast Templar Archives. Dark Templar in production, though. And the DTs are shoving away them Zerglings, but Overlord here. No Overlord at the third base, problematically. Is he going Corsair DT? Just straight up Corsair DT? But it's always a viable strategy. But you'd think that Queen would have seen this a million times and be okay with it, but guess what? There's not much over here at the third base. There's Zealots here to help with the Lings. Okay, the Scourger here to protect the Overlords. I mean, good heavens, this is just abject chaos over here. Drones are fighting, Lings are fighting, DTs are fighting. Sunken comes up and is going to be a massive help to Queen to help him stay alive here. And he does. Corsairs are looking for Overlords to kill. Oh, that DT gets out of that with 12 kills and 20 HP. Not ideal. Dude, is there enough anti-air to handle... There's a couple Scourge flying around, but there's at least 4 Corsairs in the sky. Man, if he can snipe that Sunken somehow, it's going to be hard, though. But he's going for it. Look at him. He leads. Sunken down. Zergling. Drones are fighting. This is doing a lot of damage to Queen. Only 35 drones now. Traditionally is going to be lower on the drone count. But not this low. Oh, the Corsairs trying to finish off. The Hydra's like, what do I do? Oh, the drones protected themselves, so it didn't matter if the Overlord died. Just kidding. There's another DT here, but more Overlords coming in because they have speed. Okay, this is nuts. This is some good damage done, but a lot of DTs have died too. Corsair. Oh, boof, one Corsair down. Another Corsair probably not down. Does make it back to the safety of the cannon in the main, which is just not something you can forget, is the cannon in the main. Dragoon attack range coming in, Singularity Charge, and more Maelstrom. More Dark Archon stuff today. I mean, I guess if you already have DTs, sure. But man, I've seen more Dark Archon today than I do in like 6 months on the channel. Maybe it's more part of the meta today than it has been? I don't know. I don't rightly know. The Lings have, or the Lings. The Hydras have +1 attack. They've got range. They've got speed. It's 89 to 60 supply for Stork, though. I mean, it's really impressively ahead. You're supposed to be ahead at this stage of the game against a Zerg player, yes, but that's really a lot. And here are the Mutalisks again. He believes in the power of the Mutalisk. Corsair count is something, something. Are they all dead? Might just be all dead. Okay, Muta's going to be better then. And here we go. Some Mutas to deal with this Zealot attack with some Hydra support. That's going to shut that down perfectly. Zealot's heading up to the top right hand to try to take that out, but the presence of the Sunken and the responding Hydralisk with +1 attack are going to be pretty mean. How many drones will they kill, you ask? Oh, it looks like at least 2. Nothing else more than that, though. And extra cannons, Dragoons in production, Dragoons on the field as well. Oh, okay, the Corsairs are around. I don't know where they were. They're probably just sitting right here the whole time and I didn't see them. That's fair, I suppose. Anyway, quick plug for the store. FalconPaladin.store. Merch is available. If you want a hoodie, it's going to start to get colder here fairly soon in the northern hemisphere. If you want a hat, you want a mug, you want a pillow, t-shirts, some good stuff out at FalconPaladin.store. And we can accept, we can convert currency into pretty much most of the major currencies in the world. So give it a shot. It's kind of some interesting and cool technology there. All right, man. So it's still 130 to 99 supply. The 12-minute mark is when the Zerg really wants to start bidding awesome here. Trying to split his mutas. That's a pretty good split. It's not bad. That muta's still dead, but his buddies got out of there okay. That's fair. More mutas, man. Queen is doubling down on the Mutalisk play. He's got a ton of Hydras. Got them Lings. That's 5 Corsairs, man. I don't know that making Mutalisks right now is the great or correct choice. We've seen it work, we've seen it fail. Like, I'm not going to predict it either way. I feel like it's more reliable to not go Mutalisks against a Protoss that has this many Corsairs. Good Scourge hits, not bad. Trying to snipe those High Templar. Does get 3 of them. There's still 2 in the mix here, though, and they are just ready and willing to burn them Hydras with their lightning abilities. All right, big time push. A lot of Zealots, a lot of Dragoons, +2 attack on these guys. Storm support, and it's Mutalisks, man. I don't think it's going to happen. There's a bunch of Corsairs in the sky right now. The Scourge are not accomplishing anything. The Mutalisks are here, but guess who's also here are the Corsairs that are doing pretty well right now. Hydra is doing pretty fantastically. But getting outnumbered by Zealots, getting outnumbered by Dragoons, it's 116 to 78 supply. This is a really weird pathing setup for the Protoss, but I think he's going to be able to mash through this regardless. Drones fighting here at the 3rd base, and this 2-base timing attack is getting a lot done. These drones do not want to be fighting against Zealots and against Dragoons, especially not against Zealots. Some Hydras in the mix. The Mutas coming back around. The Corsairs have been waiting for this, and the Mutas have to try to split and attack at the same time. It's not working for them at all. And good game, Stork takes down Queen, the Protoss killer, and brings us to a 3-2 situation. Oh my gosh. That was nuts. Stork. Of course Stork can do it. Stork is Stork. I get requests for Stork a lot. That's part of the reason I'm casting this. Dude, great timing. The Mutas were just, I cannot say anything other than that they were a poor choice. I feel like if there were, you know, as many resources were spent on the Mutalisks in this game were spent on Hydras and Lurkers, this goes much, much, much better for Queen. But look at this, 2 base in it. Never even really sniffed out a 3rd base. Kind of came over this way, but it's like, I'm just going to make myself 8 gateways, get Storm, get a Dark Archon. I guess he got Maelstrom. I'm sure he actually made a Dark Archon, so never mind. But yeah, Storm +2 Dragoons that trade pretty well versus Hydras as long as they're not overwhelmed, which they weren't in this game. And these Zealots putting in work. Corsairs too. I mean, these Corsairs, 3 kills and 2 kills each of the ones that remain, just trading perfectly with these Mutas. Wow. All right. So who does the Zerg team have to send out here? You probably know. I think I put all of the player names in the title or maybe even the thumbnail today. So you know what Zerg players remain. Are they good enough to beat Stork? Just once. They just have to beat Stork once here. In the next, I guess we have possibly 1 game, maybe 2 games left. So it's all going to come down to, can Protoss force a game 7 here, or will the Zerg player be able to take down Stork and come out on top? We'll find out. Stick with it. We will return. Map name. In the way of an eddy. Who's the Zerg? None other than Beast. Dude, Stork has 900 APM. What is happening? All right, so top right, it is Beast, who took Flash to a very close game on my channel last week. And in the bottom left, it is Stork with 700 APM. What are you doing, Stork? Are you some kind of robot? Maybe he is. I don't know. Hey, ever wanted to donate to the Falcon Paladin? You didn't know how? Well, there's patreon.com/Falcon Paladin for scheduled donations every month. For as little as $1 a month, you can get access to additional casts every week before anybody sees them on the YouTube. You can also just hit me directly up through PayPal. PayPal, just falconpaladin@gmail.com. Easy peasy, that one. You can donate directly through YouTube. There's a donate link available. And yeah, I think that's about it. You can also donate Bitcoin if you're into Bitcoin. I had somebody throw some Bitcoin at me the other day, and I was like, that's cool, thanks, man. He's like, hey, if you put your Bitcoin receive code there into the description, people will use it. And I'm like, oh, all right, maybe. That's a pool first, though. That was a 9 pool with extractor trick to give you 10 out of available 9 supply. This is aggressive. B, aggressive. Unfortunately, it's cross spawns. And unfortunately, that is a forge first. So this time, Stork's like, I'm not going Nexus first. Not today. Not against Beast. Not Huron in the way of an Eddy. Which, what the heck name is that? Dude, there's a crashed battle cruiser up here. Can you build on that? Is it selectable? Do you have to kill it first? Hold on a second. No, it's just a doodad. I guess you can build on it. Barely. Whatever, fine. So yeah, 6lings on the way, because with this build, you don't make anything fewer than 6lings. And here come, look at him hiding. He's like, oh my gosh, you got a drone kill. Yeah, if you're fighting that hard to try to keep the pro from getting inside your house. Oh, and the block on the hatch. Oh, never mind, he got it. We're good. Everything's good. 6lings are on the way. Run for it. Unfortunately, it's across Spawneroonie. Did the drones see that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's 2 cannons coming up before the Nexus because Stork Scouts is not an idiot and knows how to react to this thing. And Beast is going to be a bit on the back foot here. Again, Beast is not on the level of Queen. It's really, really solid macro player. He's obviously very capable of doing this. The 2 cannons are up. The probes are here to fight. Loses 1 ling instantly. That's not good. And then decides not to throw his lings away futilely on the front door of the Protoss. Fine. Fine. Well, all right. It's 17 to 12 total harvesters. The expansion timings are fairly well even. The hatchery comes in before, but not crazy before the Nexus. Assume that Stork's going to do his thing with a Stargate eventually, but for the time being, we're going to watch this probe play Ring Around the Rosie with these lings. Boy, this probe is leading these lings on a merry chase. Production tab says, nothing crazy. Blair coming in from the Zerg Hydralisk Den. Sorry, my buddy just texted me that Chadwick Boseman died of cancer today. I'm casting this on the 28th. He's not the kind of friend to just send me incorrect information. I don't think I knew that Chadwick Boseman had cancer. He's Black Panther, in case you're wondering who that is. 43 after a 4-year fight with colon cancer. He's portrayed Jackie Robinson and James Brown and Thurgood Marshall and Black Panther. He was a good Black Panther. Crap. Okay, that's terrible, terrible news. Alright. 43. Holy smokes. I'm almost 40. I didn't know he had cancer. I'm a terrible person. Yeah, colon cancer is bad news bears. Really bad. As far as cancer goes, not great survival rates from what I understand. Anyway, this is a big ling flood from Beast all of a sudden, kind of coming in from different angles and trying to catch Stork by surprise. These guys, I believe, are just dead. But I don't think you're getting through this. Although, dude, that's a 7-kill Zealot. That what a badass. That Zealot. He's going to be telling some stories, well, in the afterlife when he dies to all of these lings. All right, man. Lurkers coming up. Lurker ling pressure going to try to happen here. What an interesting build here out of Beast. I kind of like it. Rush lurkers off of 1 gas on 2 bases. Bring some lings along for buffering purposes. Use the lurkers maybe to try to take down the cannons. Use the lings to absorb the shots. Ah, this is going pretty well for Beast. I think the cannons are going to die. They are. Your detection is gone. He does re-wall temporarily, but the lurkers are stabbing away at that pretty effectively, but the lings are dead. But guess who has more lings coming in? Because Beast is all in, ladies and gentlemen. Beast. All right. So that pylon is saving the day right now. Oh, never mind. Lings can run right through. It's not even a wall. I thought it totally was. All right. So lings inside the house. Only 3 of them there. They're not doing anything right now because we're really focusing on killing this pylon. The Forge is not working on upgrade or anything. It's going to die, but... I mean, the good news here for Stork is he hasn't lost any probes, right? I don't think... Maybe some. Maybe in some of the early defense here. Dude, these lings are not moving. I think Beast doesn't know he has them. That might be a problem. Oh, the cannon's picking off that lurker. Are they in range to hit that lurker? They are. Oh, and that's your good game, Stork. Yeah, when I said that Beast was all in, he were all in, it turns out. That was fantastic. Man. And then the Corsairs are just up here murdering overlords. Beast is down to 26 available supply. He has 7 drones. Oh, I guess this zealot was causing problems back here all while that was happening. With 7 kills. Yeah, he's with his buddy. When they both die, they will talk to each other about all the Zerglings they killed. But yeah, man, if you're worried about an all-in from a Zerg player, you're worried they're going to show up with a bunch of stuff, you're not going to have Storm available for it. Cannons, man. I know they're expensive. I know it cuts into your probe count, but having cannons is better than not having cannons and dying. So, Stork, buddy, he's forced to game 7. Who will it be against? Who will Team Zerg pull out from their Team Zerg box of Zerg players to try to take down Stork, who has honestly looked... terrifying. As terrifying as Queen had in the early stages of this race war. 54 to 13 units killed is a problem if you're Beast. Yeah. I don't know that Beast is quite on the level of the upper tier echelon players right now, but he's working on it. He's striving as fast as he can. Doing that grind. All right. Who's going to take down Stork? I don't know. Is anyone going to take down Stork? I don't know. Let's find out together. It's action. They bring out action to try to take down Stork at the peak of his powers. Hoo boy. Bottom left side. Action. 500 APM. Top right. Stork. Stork. What has been said about Stork that has not been said yet? I don't think anything. He's great. He really, really is great. Just his mechanical abilities, his map awareness, his decision making, his ability to respond to pressure and put pressure on. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anybody. That I would definitely favor over Stork. I've seen him beat Jaedong. I've seen him maybe Flash. Maybe Peak Flash is the only one where I'd be like, yes, Flash, without question, is going to beat Stork. But otherwise, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm not really willing to bet against Stork in this situation. Anyway, what are we doing down here? Are we seriously going pool first action? I guess this is a situation where kind of lesser Zergs are like, you know what? The longer this game goes on against Stork, the worse it's going to be for me. So exact same build as we saw from Beast in the last game. Extractor trick, pool first play, probe scouts it, immediate forge, immediate forge as the probe comes down. And then just cannon up, man. Cannon up. You can shut down this early pool play if you scout it. And that's absolutely what Stork did. This is why Protoss scouts as hard as they do with workers, is because if they don't see what's coming, it's hard for them to stay alive. And if they see what's coming, it's easier for them to stay alive. Whereas Zerg players generally play in the dark. Especially if you're being aggressive. Wait, hold on. He's not making any lings. Action. Has he made... Oh, cancel the cannons. Do it, Stork. Cancel the cannons. There's no lings here. There's no lings at all. Action, you sly dog. Look at that. Cancel them. You don't need both of them. Maybe just keep one. There we go. There we go, Stork. Doing... And there's the expansion. He's like, okay. If you don't make any lings, I'm down with that. Just have one cannon up just because I don't want to make any zealots anytime soon, and you might send some lings up eventually. And there's my gateway. Ooh, third hatch coming up too, up this left side. I can get on board here. I can get on board with this. The atmospheric Zerg music fills the air. I don't know. Maybe I don't give the Zerg music its fair due. Hey, look, it's a Stargate. A little bit of zealot pressure. It's not Bisu level or mini level zealot pressure, but that's okay. Stork's cool. Hydralisk Den just about done. I like it. I like it from action. Put a little fear of Zerg into Stork here. Slow down his attempts to expand. Get on 3 bases. Drone your face off. Have a handful of lings out to handle a little bit of zealot pressure. This guy's actually... How do I get rid of that? Alt D, Control D? I don't remember. There's a hotkey for this. Zealot's coming out of there anyway. I don't know why you have this many lings and why they're trying to come over here, man. There's 2 zealots and a cannon. You're not getting through this. No, but for real, that's not happening. I like the 19 drone count. I do. The zealot just needs to see how many lings are out here and then pull back home. He doesn't have to suicide in that situation. All right, just Hydras, man. It's just going to be Hydras. It's just going to be lings. Extra cannons coming up because guess what? That Templar Archives has not even started yet. I would not be surprised if we saw another cannon and another cannon. All right, so Templar Archives has started now, but Storm's a long way off. And if you just want to kill Overlords and all the Hydras are cruising across the map to try to murder you, this is tight. Like, I don't... Is there enough? Dude, action beating Stork here would be an upset, but you know what? Upsets happen in StarCraft every single day. That's why we watch the games. Look at this. Probes are fighting. Remember last time we saw probes fighting? It did not go super well for the probes, but the hold, though. Zealots come home. Cannons are... That one cannon is a huge part of this defense right now. Probes are dying, but again, you're up 32 to 18 probes. You can afford to lose some probes in the name of staying alive. The Hydras need to focus down that cannon, which means the probes need to be killing the Hydras. Okay, cannon down, but probes fighting. There's not enough lings here where the probes have to go home. Morlings are joining the party, but another cannon is up. Can action do this for all Zerg everywhere in this race war? Can he be the one to defeat the monstrous Stork? Well, there's a DT out, and there's no overlords, so that's your GG. Nope. Stork says, who needs Storm? I have Dark Templar, and I can hold infinitely against you guys because you have no overlords anywhere near this side of the map. Stork, our ultimate victor here, ends up taking down Queen, who was on a rampage, and then wins 3 games in a row to win this thing 4-2-3 in this race war. What a fantastic, fantastic race war it was. Really great players, really great games. ZVP, my favorite matchup. And Stork's the ultimate champion, representing Protoss everywhere. What a boss. Yeah, 36 to 8 units killed is insane, even considering he was fighting with probes. He was fighting with probes, and the total number of units he lost is 8. That's crazy time. Ended up losing a couple buildings, whatever. And then, yeah, Action needed to win that thing fast. He couldn't. And that's it. Ah, that was fun. What a really, really fun series that was. Thanks again, RJB. Thanks again, KCM, for organizing the event. I want to do more of this, if possible. Race War is a really fun format. We'll find out together. But for now, that is going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.